what's the whole point of a layer 2? Like we got Base, we got Arbitrum, we got Polygon, we got Optimism, we got ZK Sync, we got all these different layer 2s. Like what is the point? So I just want to kind of talk about that, because our whole goal is to show, other than to show you guys our fly merch, is to really educate you guys so you can know why these protocols exist, what they need to do in order to be able to go mainstream. Because not only can this help you while you're using these protocols, but it helps you as an investor as well. And the whole goal is to be able to take care of the family, at least for us. So I want to just kind of jump into that. So in crypto, blockchain specifically, you have this issue that I think Vitalik coined it, called the blockchain trilemma, right? Picture a triangle. At the bottom, you have decentralization. On this side, you have scalability, which is transactions per second. And on the left side, you have security. In the beginning, most blockchains were optimized for 2. So if you look at Bitcoin, Ethereum before it moved to proof of stake, they were both really decentralized and they were both really secure, but they weren't that scalable. Like I think Bitcoin can handle 7 transactions per second. And I think before the merge, ETH can do 14 transactions per second. And if you look at something like Visa, it can handle, even though it's not a blockchain, but the whole goal for this thing to be mainstream is that, Visa is built on chain. They have patents and things too. We want to be able to handle global demand. They actually need to be better than Visa, because Visa doesn't work somewhere. Blockchain works anywhere where you can use an internet connection. Visa can handle like 60,000 transactions per second. So ETH wasn't even close. So having that said, a blockchain has 3 main layers, right? You have a consensus layer that says what's true. This is the consensus mechanism on Ethereum. That's now proof of stake. You have the data layer, which is like your storage, right? You have a blockchain. And in order to have this continuous blockchain where blocks are being added to the chain, you need to be able to go on the block explorer and see all the transaction information that's inside of each block, right? That's the storage component. Mm-hmm. You have the execution layer, which is your computational finality, where the next block gets added to the chain and it continues to happen. Now, having that said, in the beginning, all 3 of those things were happening on the mainnet, okay? And any blockchain is in the business of selling blocks, right? Just like a plane ticket. And if you refer back to like the 2021 bull market before L2s, and definitely the 2017 bull market, you had all these Ethereum killers rising up, because the issue is that the gas fees were going too high. And the reason why is because no matter what your transaction is, whether you're minting an NFT, you're entering into a liquidity pool, you're staking on Aave, you're whatever, we're all competing to get inside of the next block. It's literally like a plane flying from New York to San Francisco. If it's a small plane and it's only a few of them coming, what's going to happen to the tickets is everyone wants to go. They're going to go up, right? But if you have multiple planes going there, the ticket prices go down because more people can fit. It's the same thing with blockchains. So now, in order for blockchains to scale, and we're seeing this with the advent of layer 2s and sharding, they need to take a modular approach instead of being monolithic. Monolithic means all those things are happening on the mainnet. Modular is like a division of labor where you have certain components that are specialized to do a certain thing. This is also how chips scale. And this is actually how our cells govern the inner workings inside of our body. And I always like to say, as it goes in nature, it also goes in everything else too, including blockchains, right? So we have like an amoeba, and then we have cells on the outside of it that manage certain things for digestion, another one for blood flow. Like there isn't a single cell that handles everything, or else it would be too overworked and we'd probably be vegetables. So now layer 2s, having all that said, layer 2s are built to help with the scalability portion, to increase the transactions per second, right? So, Base, Optimism, which Base is built on, Optimism, they call it the super chain, Polygon, ZK Sync, all these layer 2s, they're built to help Ethereum scale, right? So how it works is that you have optimistic rollups and you have ZK rollups. And maybe that'll be the topic for the next show. I'm not going to get into the weeds of both of those because, it can get pretty complex and I'll be talking for a while. But they're called rollups because it's similar to compressing an email. Like if I were to send Basejunkie an email and it's a lot of data, I have to compress it before I can send it off. And when you compress it, it shrinks it into a smaller packet of data. I send it to him, he unzips it, and now he gets all the data and he can download it on his computer. It's the same thing with layer 2s. They call them roll up because they roll up all these transactions, and instead of the transactions having to fit into the block on the mainnet, It's happening on the side chain. They roll up all these transactions, they compress them to a small packet of data, just like you would an email, and then it submits it in a smaller packet of data to the layer one, in this case, Ethereum. And this is good because Ethereum is really secure, so it still gets the security components instead of having to do it on the L2. And then all the transactions get handled at once. And a good analogy for this is like when you go to a bar. You go to a bar, you don't get in line every time you buy a drink or buy some food. It wouldn't be as good of an experience if you have to keep getting in line, because your whole point to go there is to socialize and dance or chill, whatever you're into. So instead, you open up a tab, right? You buy it once, you get your drinks. Oh, throw another one on the tab, throw some food on the tab, drinks for everybody, throw it on the tab. And at the end of the night, you pay for all the transactions at once. Now you don't have this long line and people can enjoy themselves at the bar. It's the same thing on chain. You want these things to scale. We need to take a modular approach. And these L2s are really speeding that up. And I believe in the future, we're going to see most, and we're already kind of seeing this, we're going to see most of the actual applications that we know and love built on the layer 2s, because let's be honest, our attention span is shrinking more and more as data and internet speeds and 5G and all that stuff is getting faster. So we're going to be using the L2s mostly without even knowing it, but we're going to get the settlement and the security is going to happen on the L1. So that's the whole point of layer 2s, in case you guys didn't know.